Fantastic. Okay. And now let me get my screen going. So I hope you guys have been having a great week. Thank you so much for everybody that's on now. Please make sure that you're typing in the chat box and, give me a shout. Let me know who's on. I know that Rain O'Brien, pretty young thing, is on, and she says, "Hey, Sonia." So, hey, Rain, nice to see you. I'm very, very excited to have you on. Thank you so much for being here. And I'm just going to get to it. So today's topic is how to create value, how to add value for your clients. And this is really important. It's a really important topic because we talked last week about the difference between selling price and selling value. And understanding how to actually add value to your clients is going to be really important. I see that Estella Witt has just joined. Hi, how are you? Nice to see you. So basically, I wanted to just take this opportunity to piggyback off the conversation we had last week and share with you how you can now add value for your clients. So what we talked about last week was really important because it started with taking personal inventory. And it always starts there. So I'm just going to keep repeating that over and over and over and over. The business that you have, the life that you have, the clients that you have, the relationships that you have, the finances that you have, it is 100% a direct result of the circumstances that you're choosing and that you are creating for yourself. So whenever something is showing up in your life that you really like, you can absolutely say, hey, this is because of me. And when something is showing up in your life that you don't like, you can also say, hey, this is 100% me. So does that make sense so far? Because again, that's so important. Everything that you do starts with you. It's always a ripple effect. You are basically, setting the tone for the field around you, and how these things show up is the clients, as I said, and everything that shows up is basically based on, what you're thinking, what you're doing, all of those things. So Cindy Renee says yes, and I'm glad that you understand this is really important. One of the reasons why this show is so important to me, and I do want to, be in your ear pretty regularly, is because I feel like one of the things that's just been so challenging for those of us in the beauty industry who are looking to really elevate what we're doing is it's not that, you're not trying, or that you're doing something wrong. It's just that there's information that's missing that's really critical for you to know. And I have to tell you, I just spent 4 days this past weekend in, hey B, nice to see you. I just spent 4 days this past weekend in Colorado at this energy retreat. And it was really fascinating because, it basically, I won't get all woo-woo on you, but what I realize is that one of the reasons why my life has literally transformed, because if you knew me back even in 2014, I was a completely different person. I was very much in victimhood and why is this happening to me? And if I could do, if somebody could just tell me what to do to change it, I would do it, but I just didn't know what to do. Does that sound familiar to anyone? Has anybody ever felt that way? Like, if I knew what to do, I would do it. And I just, things just keep going wrong. And I just don't know what to do. So that's very much where I was. And that is a state of disempowerment. Cindy Renee says, yes, she can relate to it. And thank you so much for your honesty, because that's why these weekly check-ins are so important for me to do for you, to show up, because I have been there. And basically, when you are in a state of victimhood, you are feeling completely disempowered. So this weekend, I spent a lot of time, going deeper into what does victimhood look like, feel like, what does the languaging look like and feel like, and also what does it look like to use new tools to so that you don't feel that way. And every time I make an investment to take part in these types of events, it's first for me because I'm super committed to having the life of my dreams, and I know that it's 100% my responsibility for me to choose and take the action for what I want. The second reason I do it is because I know that whenever I learn, I'm showing up stronger as a coach. When I can understand what victimhood looks like, what is the languaging, what are the patterns, I also know how to respond to it, how to support someone in it without listening to their shit and letting them sit in the excuses either. So this weekend was very transformative. I got a lot of new insight about that. And, just know that not only am I here to share with you vital information in terms of strategies and tactics, if we don't talk about these life strategies first, these business tactics that I'm giving you won't work. Okay? Because you will find ways to sabotage that voice in your head that tells you that you can't do it or it doesn't work out for you and things never work out for you. That voice will always trump everything that you're doing. So does that make sense? Please type in the chat box and say, yes, that makes sense, if you're with me. I feel very, very honored to be the person in the beauty space who's having that conversation, because I will tell you that there's so much available education out there. And if you keep making investments and growing your skill set, it's amazing. But if you're not learning how to have the strategies to upgrade your life, those skills and makeup and hair and whatever your skill set is can only go so far. So I hope that you're getting this. Thank you. Estella says yes. Cindy Renee says yes, absolutely. B and Ray are both agreeing. They say yes. Okay, wonderful. This is super, super important. So this weekend, what I got very clear on is that I'm going to absolutely be sharing more about life strategies and things that have to change in order for you to have the life that you want. So let me just say this. When you are in a state of victimhood, or when you don't know what to do, the level of energy that you're bringing to everything, to your life, to circumstances, there's not enough energy there to push you through to create the change that you want, to create the life that you want, because it's just very low energy, very low level. So the name of the game is, how do you tap in so that you can use the energy, not only that you have, but there's energy all around us that you can tap into. So, and let me just share with you what energy kind of feels like, because you can't see it. So if you can think of, when you walked into a room and you can tell that an uncomfortable conversation has just happened, and you weren't there, but you can just feel it. Or same thing, when you walk in and people are celebrating and all of a sudden you're just jumping up and down with them and you don't really know why you're doing it, but you can feel it. That is tapping into the energy around us. So like, the wonderful thing about that energy is that it can absolutely help propel you forward. But let me also tell you this, if you are in an energy state, or you're in an energy field that is very low level, it also is going to be challenging for you to be able to make this impact, to make this breakthrough. Okay, I got a little woo-woo there. Just type in the chat box. Let me know that you're still with me. But I'm creating the awareness because what I want you to know is that this is not just you. It's really the whole space around you as well. And it's a huge benefit to understand it a little bit more. So in the beginning, that might be a little bit more, higher level, meaning like, there will be a point where it kind of makes more sense. But right now it's about, those first steps. So it starts with the thoughts, what you're thinking. And when you're in that victimhood or in survival mode, typically you're only seeing it as it can work. It either works out or if it doesn't. And if it doesn't, my life is over. So it may feel that way. It may feel that dramatic, and you may not be saying those words, but it may be feeling that way because the consequences of it feel so dramatic. So the more that you can have more than one perspective, meaning that things may not necessarily look how you thought that they were going to look, but it might still be there. Not it might, but it is still there serving you and helping you. That's a really important part. It's about being able to see outside of the perspective that you've held before, because the reason why you're here and the reason why you're feeling stuck is because you only see how it could work one way, and that one way isn't working. So now you feel stuck. So now it's the victimhood, the disempowerment. Does that make sense? Please type in the chat box and say, I get it. Cindy Renee says, whew, I feel the energy now. Well, good. I'm glad that you do. So Cindy, that's telling me that you are absolutely an empath. I can tell you that that is the energy that you're feeling that I'm radiating, because being on this call, I am setting the field. So what's happening is wherever you are, because I'm coming to this conversation at an energy rich state, you are automatically going up one level just because of where I am. Just to meet me, it is upgrading you one level. So the more often you come to stuff like this, because no, I always set my intentions whenever I do any type of training online, or if you ever see me in person, that is of the most essence, because for you to get the transformation that you need, you have to be out of that low energy state. Thank you so much for the hearts, you guys, because I have to tell you, as much as I love talking about sales and things like that, this for me is the most critical information. And this is like my heart's passion, sharing this with you, because this is what you don't know. So I can say to you, you know, and again, for those of you who don't know, I'm hosting a masterclass tomorrow evening, Thursday evening, and I'm going to share with you a really powerful strategy of how to use live events to grow your business. It's absolutely free. Make sure you register for it. The link is all over my social media. You can absolutely find it, and I'll make sure that I post it in this community again. I'll post it on YouTube when this video is up there. So, but the point is, when you show up for one of those trainings, I'm setting the field for you to elevate the field, the state where you are, so you can receive the information, number one. So that really good feeling that you're getting, that's called alignment. And when you're aligned, you can't possibly be in fear. You can't possibly have those stories that stand in your way. They can't exist in the same place. So by me having this weekly show, one of the intentions is, hey, if we do this consistently, you will be more in a state of alignment. You'll know more what that feels like. You'll have new tools, because just by me sharing what I know, you're going to learn stuff anyway. So it's about having the business strategy and the life strategies. Does that make sense? B. Gandhi says, I definitely get it. Cindy Renee says, I get it. Oh, Rain says, my service is messing up. Well, hurry up, fix it so you can come back on. So this is a really key point. And now because I can feel my energy, like I'm even more excited, and I'll tell you why I'm excited to have the response, to understand, to feel that you're with me, that you're understanding this is, you know, it's just confirmation for me. So this feeling is very exciting to me. And I know that is my guidance to keep doing what I'm doing. And that's also going to work with you in your business. When it feels really good, you guys, keep doing more of that. When things in your life feel really good, you know, and outside of business as well, do more of that. Now, the key is to always be taking that personal inventory, because if it feels really good to you to go out and have a bunch of drinks, or if it feels really good to you to go out on a shopping spree where you know it's actually destructive behavior, then that is more of a low-level response. So this is about really checking in with what alignment is, what feels really good, what's really serving me, and then do more of that. That might be going to get a massage. That might be going on vacation. Like, all of those things are necessary. So the more you can be in that state, I have to tell you, again, I'm going to be sharing, some information today about how to add value for your clients. These are all strategies that work in business. But I can tell you that what matters the most is your energy. So the more often you feel good, the more often you are in a state to receive what it is that you want, the life that you want. Or let me even clarify that a bit more, the life that you truly need. So with that, these strategies are things that will help. But the main strategy in life is feel good as often as possible. Things will just happen. Has anybody ever had an experience where all of a sudden, somebody called and, it just worked out perfectly, and, oh, what a coincidence. I was just thinking that, and how that worked out so easily. If you've ever had, an instance like that, let me know, because this is a really important part of it. So I've had those instances a lot, like, something that I thought it was going to be really complicated. Like, I'll give you an example. So today, I have to ship boxes over to New York. I'm hosting my next boot camp not this weekend, but next weekend. So I just came back from Denver and I've been so tired. And I was just kind of like, oh my God, I hope that I can get these boxes to FedEx on time. I don't know if they'll make it to New York on time and blah, 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 and all this stuff that's going on. And then I got there and they were like, oh no, this is perfect. You'll get it there just in time and blah, blah, blah. So it worked out really seamlessly because last night I was so tired and I was going to try and effort and get this done, but I needed to think, what am I going to pack and whatever. And by the time I got there, the guy was like, nope, this is super easy. We can take care of you. In fact, we can pack the boxes for you. We can do that. It just was perfect. And why I know that happened is because I woke up this morning well rested. I felt really good. I said, I'm going to go to FedEx and I'm just going to ask the questions. I'm not going to stress myself out about what I can and I can't control. And then I also thought, I'm like, you know what? I could also take another suitcase with me instead of shipping things. That might work. So I was in a state where I could receive all of these ideas and these actions that were happening to help me. So the reason why I share that story is because that will also happen in your business. The more aligned you are, the more that you are in this really divine state, the ideas come. All of a sudden, someone randomly calls you or emails you and says they want your services. All of a sudden, the person that, the guide, the piece of information that you need all of a sudden shows up. That's just what happens. When you are in the state of victimhood and the state of low level energy, those things just can't appear. They're not in the same vibration. So I've taken quite a bit of time talking about this because hopefully by this point you are feeling a little bit more energized. And if you are, type in the chat box, I am feeling energized, because now you can receive the information that I have for you in a state where it can actually make a difference. So before I move forward with it, I'm going to be looking at my chat box and I want to know who's in it, who's feeling the energy of what's going on here, who's feeling tapped in. So type in the chat box, I'm tapped in. And then you guys are amazing. Thank you so much for the participation. Cindy Renee says, well, that's really amazing. Well, that's really amazing. I was on Instagram scrolling through and I ran across the information and I joined your group and it's giving me life. So that's exactly it. Synchronicity happens. There is nothing, you guys, in life, there are no accidents. There's no things it is all divinely timed. So all of the good stuff, all of the stuff that is here to move you along, because, I'll tell you, when you're doing things that are aligned with you, things just show up. There's no effort. And it doesn't mean you don't have to take action and do things, but there's no effort. It just shows up. So I 100% know, Cindy, that the reason that you're here is because when you found me, you were also in a state of alignment. And you know what? I was too. So here's another thing. We're all connected through energy. It doesn't matter where you are on the planet. We absolutely are. So it doesn't matter that I'm here in California and you are wherever you are. We are tapped in. So welcome, you guys. Welcome, my beautiful, beautiful trailblazers. I'm getting goosebumps. I'm so, so excited to have you tapped in. Marie M. Baptiste says, I'm tapped in. Cindy Renee says, I'm feeling energized. Brain says, energy felt, tapped in. Estella's tapped in. B says, yes, I even plan on redoing some things in my home to reflect the energy that I want to keep. Perfect. That's what happens. That's a new inspiration. And, the field around you is really important. So if, you can kind of see a little bit of the area where I spend my time working. I always have flowers. I always have candles. I always have pretty light. I like lots of mirrors. I like things that reflect light. You know what? It helps me be in my state. So usually when I'm not on a coaching call or I'm not doing anything like this, I have classical music playing because that's also another conductor for me. So you create those things, the formula, so that you are in your state more often than not. Okay? I'm so excited. You guys, this is really exciting me because I could literally talk about energy and all this stuff all day. So thank you for being with me. Okay, amazing. So now that we're really in this juicy, energetic state, let me share with you what it means to add value. So one thing, what I just spent about 22 minutes doing was adding value to you. So without me even explaining it, I'm going to ask you to type into the chat box and let me know, do you understand? Do you understand that what I just did now was add value? Now, this is a really important concept for you to understand, because when you start talking to someone about your services, and typically what we want is we want someone to come to us as opposed to us, reaching out to them and saying, hey, work with me, because then it kind of feels a little bit like used car salesman. So when you add value for someone, what happens is now they are inspired. Instead of you reaching out to them, they're reaching out to you. So there's this push-pull thing that, you can talk about in sales and in marketing. So when you're saying, work with me, you're pushing. The pulling in comes from adding value. So great. B. Gandy says, totally understand. Rain O'Brien says, I understand. Amazing. So that's why this is really important, because sales, there's a totally different game with it. So old school sales are, kind of like that, like I said, used car salesmen are going door to door or whatever. And the reason, has anybody here, because if you're here, you're in the beauty space. Has anybody ever walked into a department store or a Sephora and like one of the sales reps will come up and say, hi, how can I help you? Or have you looked at this and this and this, whatever, and had totally felt like, ugh, even though you love cosmetics, even though you're there because you want to buy products. That's definitely happened for me. I specialize in teaching sales, and I can't tell you how put off I am when someone comes up to me with that energy. Like when someone tries to sell me. It is a repellent for me. And I use the example of going to the department store or to Sephora or whatever, because they're trying to help and they're also doing their job. But what happens is, because the approach is so aggressive, now, like, I don't trust you. Okay? That's what I'm thinking. So now type in the chat box and say, and let me know if you're getting that. So the thing is, the trust hasn't been built. How you build trust for someone is you add value. Rain O'Brien says, yes, I dislike that as well. Rain, can you share with me what area of the beauty industry are you in? Are you a makeup artist, hairstylist, nail technician? What is it that you do? So because it really leaves that yucky feeling for you. Cindy Renee says, wow, I get it. Tori Vera Prince says, yep. So that's exactly what you want to stay away from. Because if it doesn't feel good for you, it's not congruent. It's not aligned. That may feel good for some. Oh, okay. So Rain says she's a makeup artist. I knew that you were going to say that. And so this is a makeup artist going to a department store, to Sephora, feeling that yucky feeling about purchasing products, about purchasing cosmetics. So it goes to show you that it doesn't matter if you think someone is like, oh my God, they're totally into makeup or they're totally into what I do. It has nothing to do with that, whether they decide to make an investment in your services or not. It really doesn't. It is the energy behind it. Tori says, I would like to help, but give me a minute to gather myself. Right. So that's the thing. It's too pushy. It's too much too soon. So, maybe the introduction of, hi, I'm Cindy, I work here, can I help you with anything? And then, having the ability to say, thanks so much, Cindy, not yet, I'm not sure, but I'll let you know if I do. Like, even that helps a little bit. Or, for Cindy, the salesperson, to say, okay, great. And just to let you know, there's a couple of things that we have going on here. If it feels good to you, at a certain point, I'm happy to share with you like what the deals are, what the specials are, but it's not pushy. It's like, you let me know when you're ready. Okay. So how do you add value for someone when, you're not in the same room with them? How do you add value for someone doing what you do? So why I highly, highly recommend that you join me on my masterclass tomorrow is because live events is a really big part of that, that I've used in my business. It really, really is transformative. So one of the reasons why I love live events is because it's a great way to add value for someone. If someone can watch you do what you do without feeling like they have to make a purchase, then and they're just going to learn, and if you're not an educator, they're literally just going to see a beautiful demo of what it is that you do. It really is valuable because they get to see the process. Because really what it boils down to with sales is vision. And I'm going to get to that in a minute. but they get to actually see it and experience it and feel it. So how you guys felt the energy, what I just created, it's the same thing that you are absolutely capable of doing for your clients. Now, it's okay that this might be a new concept and you don't quite yet know how to create it for someone else, and that none of that really matters. The name of the game is, what can you do to be in your most aligned state? So before you reach out to anyone about your services, don't do it if you're in a stinky energetic field. Clean up your stuff. Again, it's that personal inventory. And if today is not the day because you're going through something, kind of challenging, pick another day, do it another time, because not only do you deserve it, but your clients deserve the best of you. It's absolutely unfair for your clients to experience anything less than. And just putting yourself, on the other side of it, imagine what it would feel like if you went to a service provider. We all know what that feels like when you can tell that they're not in alignment and their energy is stinky. It doesn't feel good. It absolutely reflects on your brand. Okay? Does that make sense, you guys? Super, super important. You are your brand. You are your business. It all starts with your energy. All of it. Your energetic state is your marketing. It is your branding. It is your sales department. It's your social media. It's all of it. All of it. And once you guys get that, once you guys really, really start to get that, things will start to move in a way that you would have never imagined. It'll unfold in a way that, feels like it's pure magic. So let's talk about a little bit more about this adding value. Okay, so we don't want to be Cindy, who's super pushy, when you first walk into the department store. So how do you address someone and add value for them? So the first thing is you want to get clear on their vision. So what that means is, if I'll use the example of a bride, because I always like to use the example of a bride apparently, but if a bride reaches out to you and says, hi, I'm getting married on June 5th, and I wanted to know, are you available, and how much, and how much is your price? How much does it cost, or whatever, however they're asking these days. So, I highly recommend that instead of going to those questions, that you shift the conversation. So when I was working with brides, what I would do is I would say, hi, so-and-so, thank you so much for reaching out to me. I would absolutely love to speak to you more about your wedding. I would love to set up a time for us to speak. And I'll certainly be covering the financial investment. However, without having a bit more information, it's not information that I can quite give to you yet. So with that, I'm letting them know that the reason I can't talk money is because I don't know yet. I don't know what her vision is. I don't know what she needs. I don't know what she wants. So if you find someone who's like, well, how much is it? I just want to know, and this and that. So that might be someone who's really looking to make an investment based on price. Okay. If they're really just hell bent on it, but can't you just tell me? Can't you just tell me? So then it's totally your call. And if you missed last week's episode, you can check it out on YouTube, where I talk about the difference between price and value. You have the choice then to decide, like, okay, well, do I want to move forward in this conversation with this client, and I'm cool with it being based on price, or I'd rather do it based on value. And if this person is not open to this conversation, maybe that's already telling me that they're not shopping based on value, they're shopping based on price. So you now have a bit more awareness as to what kind of decision that you can make. So once I get them on the phone for an actual consultation, I start asking them questions, because I have to get clear on their vision. So how I add value for any of my clients is I have to understand why this is important to them. So obviously with a bride, her wedding day is important, but with brides, they've been thinking about their wedding day their entire life, and they have a vision. And if anybody here on this live can relate, please let me know. But I mean, can we all agree that we've been thinking about our wedding days since we were little kids? And we have an idea of, like, I want a big wedding, or I want a small one. I want one that's destination. And I know my dress is going to look like this, or I know my hair is going to look like this. And, I want my husband to be wearing this, or I want this many people here, or I want it at daytime. I can see myself getting married in a church, or I see myself getting married on the beach, or this and that. Okay, amazing. So Tori says, yes, she gets it. So you are missing, Rain also raising her hand, you're missing a huge opportunity if what you're saying to your potential bride is, sure, I'm available and my rate is X, Y, and Z. It's a missed opportunity, because for her, and I will say that these tactics on adding value are really, really critical if your business is based on value. So, it may not be as much of an issue if you're doing it based on price. But with value, like, purchases are emotional. They're always emotional. So when you understand what's really driving the decision making, what are the feelings that they're feeling surrounding this event, what is it that they want to happen at this event? Like, literally, what is the story? What's the vision in their head? Tapping into that is going to be very important, because how you add value for someone is by understanding what their full vision is. I guarantee you that you will have opportunities to hear, yes, I thought about it this way, and I really want, let's say you're a makeup artist, and they're saying, and I really want my hair to look this way, and blah, 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 blah. And then it just so happens that the perfect hairstylist that can do it just how she wants it. So you connecting the bride with this person that maybe you work with in tandem, like you've teamed up together, and there's also this cohesiveness, that's adding value for her. Because not only is it, oh my God, that's so amazing that you just said that. I actually happen to know someone who's the master at that. And in addition to that, we work together pretty regularly with our brides. So we have this really great synergy. And what's really valuable about that is that we're able to make the look cohesive. Does that make sense? So type in the chat box if you're with me so far. So like, that synchronicity just happens. If you're just listening and you're asking questions, you can start to really understand what the vision. So now there's the vision of like the tactical stuff of what, she wants to look like, but there's more than that. What does she want the day to feel like? What does she picture herself doing? Things like that. So the question, I literally ask my questions, my bride, one question around vision, and it really helps me understand where they are with it. And the question that I like to ask is, if money wasn't an object, what does your wedding day look like from the moment you wake up to the moment you go to bed? And because it's totally like, usually they're like, oh, wow. Like, they never thought of it, because everyone else that they've been speaking to is saying, yes, I'm available and my rate is X, Y, and Z. So what I'm saying is, what has this day looked like? So I will share with you, I know exactly what I want my wedding day to look like. I know that I'm going to get married in Maui. I know that I'm going to be on Maui. And I also know that the morning of my wedding, I'm not really going to have I'm not going to have a bridal party, but I just want to spend the morning with my mom. Like, I just see that, really easy, mellow morning, just having conversations, really sharing that time together. I really want my mom taken care of. I want her to look and feel her best. I don't want her to lift a finger for anything, and I want to get married on the beach, and I want to have a dress that looks like it was made for me. And I want my hair and my makeup done, but I want my hair and my makeup to look like I'm not wearing a stitch of makeup and that my hair wasn't done, that I literally woke up that effortless. Like, I just woke up and I was just stunning, So that for me feels really good. And having, people who can provide that, someone who can take care of my mom, that's going to be great for me. And then someone who can create this look for me would be amazing, because I don't like anything that looks overdone. But then on top of it, the experience of things going easily is really important to me. Why? Because, building this business and just doing all this stuff, I'm constantly, doing. So being in a situation, in a state where someone is just like, just thinking of what I might need, anticipating, where they're just saying, okay, great, everything's going to be taken care of. Show up at 10 o'clock and we're going to have you ready. And, don't worry about a thing. Like, that sounds really good to me. So does that make sense, you guys? Please type in the chat box if you're with me. So at this point, if someone was enrolling me based on value, they haven't talked to me about price yet. They're just talking to me about what's most important for the day. And that's really important for me. I don't want a lot of people around. I don't want a lot of fuss, but I do want it to look like this is my wedding day. I'm only going to do this once. So I really want to look amazing. I want to look and feel my best. So I hope that you guys are getting this. Let me just go ahead and just do a quick technology thing here. Okay, cool. Great. So asking these kinds of questions that aren't just about the tangible things, like what time and how many people, like that works for businesses that are more based on price. But because this is about adding value, you have to understand what's important to this person. And when you understand what's important to a person, now you can add value with what you do. So if I was the one enrolling or on a conversation with a potential bride that sounds how I sound, I would be saying, wow, that sounds really incredible. And, thank you so much for sharing that with me. And I can tell you that is actually something that I know that I can absolutely help you with. So first and foremost, I completely understand that for you, what's really important is to really look and feel like yourself, right? Am I right? Am I understanding that correctly? Yes, you are. Yes, that's very important to me, right? Great. So, let me just say to you that one of the things that I'm known for is, my makeup style is very natural. Like what I care the most about is for someone to say to you, you look amazing, not your makeup looks great. So typically when I say things like that, like that's me speaking my truth. As a makeup artist, that really is, always my intention and what I provide. So when I've said that to potential brides in the past, they're just like, yes, oh my God, that's exactly it. That's exactly what I want. Say, great, wonderful. And you know what? I'm understanding how you're feeling about your hair. And there's actually someone that I work with very intimately for different weddings. And it sounds like they're perfect for you for a couple of reasons. Like number one, and I'll share a little bit with their background and why they're so great. I usually, if it's something based on value, I'm handpicking those people that are going to be part of the team, but I'm handpicking them to make sure that not only that the style lines up, the aesthetic, but also the energy. Are they going to get along? Is this person, it sounds to me like this bride, she wants peace. So someone who's going to come in and, is party, and it just may not be the right flow. So, all of those things are adding value because what am I creating in the room for this person? What is the experience that they're going to have? So I'm already making it so much easier for her. I'm saying to her, hey, I have this amazing hairstylist. We can put it all together. So another way that I add value is I'm just one of those people that likes systems and things like that in organization. So I'm also able to create, a schedule, a run of show for the day, if you will. So where I can do the hair schedule, the makeup schedule, I can coordinate with the photographer, I can connect with the event planner. I can have everything done. So literally all the bride is doing is she's just getting emails to approve those things. So it's almost like I'm in that position. I'm a beauty concierge. So imagine how much value that adds, because typically if someone like myself isn't doing it, now they have to go find the hairstylist. Now she has to coordinate the hair and the makeup schedule and make sure that everything goes okay. So there's a bit more outreach that needs to happen for her. So what I'm doing is I'm honoring what she wants and making it easy. Does that sound like I'm adding value? Anne Alexander says, with you. Amazing. So let me know, you guys. Type it in the chat box. I want to know if you're with me. So the name of the game really is that you want to connect with your clients. Set the energetic state. Just ask them questions about their vision. So I want to share something with you that's really important, where a lot of people get stuck. When you have a business based on value, and when you're adding value, Tori also says that she gets it. Great. When you have a business based on value and you're looking to add value, what I want you to know is that you're never selling yourself, ever. You're never selling your services. I said on last week's talk, if someone says no to you, it has nothing to do with you. And if someone says yes to you, it also has nothing to do with you. So what I want to make clear is that what they're saying yes to is their vision. And if they're saying no to that vision. And what probably happened was that fear got in the way again. So it all sounded really great. And then all of a sudden they started thinking, okay, well, how would this work? And I don't know. And is this a good idea? Like that's the head, coming back in. And the head is always going to look for how this won't work, because the head, the ego, the mind is looking to protect us. And when you move from your heart, it's always looking for expansion. Oh, that's going to feel great. So anything that is going to feel great like that, right? Because you have it in your heart for your wedding day to look like that, because it's possible. It's for you. You wouldn't have it in your heart if it wasn't for you. So you have to know enough to say yes. And sometimes people get lost in that and they can't say yes. They're just too afraid. So knowing that, you now understand that you can't take it personally because it's all about them, right? It's all their fear. Now, the other time that they say no, where it is about you, is if you haven't added enough value, if you haven't gotten clear enough on the vision, if you haven't done your due diligence to really understand. Because when I ask a bride that question of like, what does your day look like from the moment you wake up to the moment you go to bed, I have a notebook and I'm writing down every single detail. And I can read it back to her and paint the story of what the wedding day looks like. And when I do that, because I say, I'm like, okay, I just want to make sure that I'm completely understanding what you're envisioning here. And I will paint the picture. And by the time I'm done, she usually says, oh my God, that's amazing. And I say, how does that sound? And she says, that sounds amazing. That's exactly what I wanted. So it's really, really critical. If you miss this important step, then it's a missed opportunity. So I just want to get a feel of those who are on. How does this sound to you? You know, this new thought of, you know, getting on a phone call with your prospective client and asking them about their vision. Does it sound like something that you can do? Does it sound like it's something worth doing? Type in the chat box and let me know. As you're doing that, I do also want to emphasize that, you know, the adding value in that situation is by having that conversation. You've added value. You've gotten them clearer on their vision. Other ways that you can add value is by, thank you, Cindy Renee says it sounds amazing. Great. That's the name of the game. If you want higher level clients, if you want your clients to do more and show up bigger, you got to do more and show up bigger too. You know, it always starts with you. You got to do more and be more. Don't wait for people to just come to you just because you said, sure, I'll do it. Like, care. And I know that you care because you're here. You care. So I look forward to hearing about how, just by implementing this one strategy, how that starts to unfold things for you. You know, even if someone says no, what is the experience that they had with you? Because sometimes people say no and they will refer someone and they'll come back later. You just never know. The giving first, other ways that you can add value. So this is a way that you can add value for someone one-to-one being on a call, but you can also use it with your social media and your website and things like that. So things that you can do are you can create mini videos, you can create PDFs, you can just create information and things that people can consume so that when they're coming to you, they're understanding what you're about. They're understanding a little bit about what you do. And also, give it to them for free. Give it to them for free. Let them decide that what you're giving is so good that now they want to be on a phone call with you. Now they want to reach out to you. So now it's no longer the used car salesman. Now people are just coming. You're pulling them in with just this free value that you're getting. Let me know if you guys are getting that part, because that's really important too. So when you're using your social media, you know, you use it in a way that's beneficial, that's mutually beneficial. And the more free value that you add, it's also helping with your brand. It's helping with your positioning, because if you're offering value, information on a particular area, let's say bridal makeup, or, you know, what a bride can expect on a bridal day, you're now a bridal expert. I don't care if you've only been doing makeup for 6 months. The point is that you've been able to add value. There's something that you know that they don't know, and now they know more. So now you're building trust. Cindy Renee says, great information. Great. Awesome. I'm glad that you're getting that. Now, let me say this about the value that you add for others. When you add value for them, when you're deciding to share something online or so, make it so, give them your best. Give them your best. I will say this to you guys. This is a free show. You know, I'm hosting a masterclass tomorrow. My intention is giving you my best. If you've ever been on my webinars in the past, or, you know, my former masterclass, you are getting like high level information. I'm not holding things back. I'm giving you, you know, usually one topic and going deep with that one topic so that you could understand it. But the reason why I do it that way, I'm not saving it for just those that invest with, I'm not doing that, because I understand that I want to give someone like 10 times the value that they expected. I want to over deliver. I want people to know that whenever they're coming to me, that they can trust that the information is really good. And I'm not just giving you just one part of it and not all of it. I'm giving you the full picture so that it makes sense. Okay, that's really, really important too. So please type in the chat box and also let me know if you get that part too. So if you decide to do, let's say, a video or a PDF or whatever, don't hold information back that can really give them the full picture, because that's where a lot of people mess up. So then what you might feel like might be helpful information really isn't. So, and the value, the way that those think that are consuming the value is, well, if this is what she's doing that's free, what is she doing with that package or that service? There's another curiosity there. Like, wow, if this free stuff is so good, what's in the other thing, right? So now they're inspired to inquire about what's next. So sales becomes really fun when people are looking for you. When you are being that door-to-door salesman, and you're being, that sales rep that I mentioned from the cosmetic counter, it's not so fun, because energetically you can already feel that. You're walking towards the person and you can already tell they don't even want you to come near them. But this way, that person's excited to speak with you. So it is absolutely worth it. I hope that this, that this information has been valuable to you, because, I'm going to share with you, I think a great action step from this point moving forward would be to start thinking about what kind of value you want to offer on your social media. What could really help? So, if you're in the bridal space, it could be like, the 10 things that every bride should know as she's looking for her makeup artist, or the 10 things that every bride doesn't know that she needs to know, things like that. And just give them a list of things, but things that are really, really helpful. So something that I would put on my list is, most brides don't know that if they did their trial makeup and hair on the same day and did it with a fitting, that would be really beneficial, because they can see the whole look together. Because one standalone, sometimes you can't get the full picture, and they think they hate it and they actually may love it. Or they may love it and then they realize that with the dress, it doesn't make sense. So that would be something I would put on my list. So start thinking about those things that save people time, that save people money, that save them a hassle, because that really, really adds value. So I'm going to open it up to thank you guys so much for the likes and the thumbs up. That really means a lot to me. I like it. So I'm going to open it up for questions. Please feel free, if you have any particular questions of how you can use this in your business, this is the time to do it. Or any questions surrounding, what we've been talking about today. I do have a question that was submitted prior to the live. And it came from Jessica Harris, who is a member of the Beauty Mastermind. So Jessica, welcome. I'm so happy to have you here. She just recently joined, and I said to her that I would absolutely, share some thoughts on her question. So Jessica writes, I'm a makeup artist and a therapist, helping women understand their value in beauty. I'm learning how to be effective with the marriage of my passion. So what I got, I was able to see Jessica's Instagram, and it looked to me like, Jessica, you mainly focus in bridal. And I'm clear that you're also a therapist and that you specifically work with women. So although the question wasn't quite clear, I think what I'm getting from it is how do I start marrying the two, and how do I add value with those two? So one of my favorite things to do, and again, I think this is so valuable for anyone who's in the beauty space, really for anybody. We happen to be in an industry that's a bit competitive because there's so many people who are in beauty, but it doesn't matter. You're not competing with anyone, because the way that your unique gifts come together, like only you do it how you do it. So what I would say is I would stretch my thinking to create opportunities where I add value for my bride, not only as a makeup artist, but as a therapist. So one thing that I thought of immediately when I heard the combination of the things that you do is planning a wedding is a very, very stressful time. Also, as someone is planning their wedding, they're usually on a diet. They're kind of in this mode of like, how can I upgrade myself? What can I do to show up as my very best? So I know that I have certainly had experiences with brides where, that was very important to them. And they got very, very thin. They just looked completely different. I've also worked with brides who've been very, very stressed. And it just, unfortunately, in a circumstance like that, it's no longer fun, and this is a beautiful time in someone's life. So, how do you infuse fun? So if I were on an enrollment call with a potential bride, I would be asking not only about the vision of her day, but I would also be asking her questions about what her lifestyle is like. As a therapist, I'm sure that you can pick up on, verbal cues, her languaging, some of her patterns, where you could kind of, maybe mini diagnose, how she kind of copes with life, like what kind of strategies does she have. So for someone like that, if you can add value, like if it's someone who gets stressed out very quickly, I would offer a package that has some of your sessions already rolled into it. So I think creating packages would be really great, so that they get to experience the full thing, not just the makeup. They don't get to pick and choose, because the whole point is that you're creating an experience to fully support her. So by the time she gets to the wedding day, she's looking and feeling her best. So that may include, some sessions with you, and maybe they're not called therapy sessions, but maybe they're called a different kind of session, tied around something bridal. So someone doesn't feel like, I don't want to be in therapy, but where they understand that it's helping them get to where they want to go. So based on their languaging and pattern. So this is basically what I do when I speak to a client who is looking to work with me as a coach. Like, I am looking for languaging, for patterns that are showing up. I can tell if someone is not quite ready to make an investment yet because, there's too much fear. I can tell if someone moves much quicker and they can't start at the beginning. They kind of have to start like 3 or 4 steps in, just by what they're saying. So because of that, I present the appropriate offer based on where they are. So it's absolutely doable. I think that marrying your two loves actually makes a lot of sense. It is one of the most stressful times in someone's life, literally. So there's a lot of opportunity there. And I think if you just were to kind of rebrand a little bit the therapy part, and there might be someone, like, if you're like me, like, if anybody says anything to me having to do with coaching, I already love it. I like that word. I like that feeling of support. So, but if therapy is not a word that's working in this space, I might just, name the session something different, but you're still including the service there. So they're getting a bit of both. So I hope that helps. I don't think that you're on today. So, I hope that that's at least a start, but I would 100% start by starting to create some packages where they include it. Now, when you're asking them questions about their vision, what's going to be really important is that as they share aspects of like what's happening from that moment up until the wedding, that you're finding specific examples of how these sessions can make her life easier too. That it's not just about the makeup. There's a whole process that happens beforehand that will help her, show up for that day, really enjoy it, and feel really taken care of. Okay, awesome. I hope that helps. Okay. So B. Gandhi says, would you suggest to list? Thank you guys for the hearts. Yay. I'm so excited. I'm such a goober. That's really exciting to me. B. Gandhi says, would you suggest to list all of your values on your investment sheet, or is it best to keep it verbal and have that conversation by phone as you explain your? Yes, I think that for any type of, so let me be clear, you guys, these are high level sales strategies. So when it's high level stuff, I think a conversation is the most beneficial. There are things that are lost in translation via email or a text message or anything like that. And also you can't hear a person's voice. You can't really tap into things. And a big part of this is, what just happened here? And a big part of this is that they need to feel what it might feel like. So the way for that to happen, I highly recommend is for you to have a conversation. It's one of the reasons why, I'm having this as a live and not just a PDF saying, hey, add value. Like, it's different for you to feel it and hear it and experience it. So I absolutely recommend, if you're looking to go more value-based, to not be so quick about sending an investment sheet. I would talk them through that over the phone, get clear on it, and then make the offer on the phone if it feels aligned. And Beginny says that's a great bonus service for her. Yeah, so that's exactly it. Like whatever you can think of, you guys, if there's a passion that you have that you love, like if your passion is, underwater basket weaving, and you also love to do bridal makeup, there's a way that those two come together. Like your bride might need baskets for her flowers, for her centerpieces, and it just so happens that like doing it underwater adds something really special and different, and it gives it a finish. So who knows? But the thing is, if it is in your heart to offer it, there's someone out there who's ready to receive it. Because if it's your gift, it's your gift to give it to the world. So it's like a coin. It always has two sides. If you're ready to give it, someone's ready to receive it. So I hope that helps. B and Jessica, thank you so much for your questions. They were really, really great questions. And I'm just going to hang on for one more minute to see if anybody else would like to add anything. I certainly feel like this is a really great start to talk about value, and I'm sure we'll be talking about this more and more and more as the show progresses. And then lastly, I just want to say it one more time. If you didn't know about it, I am hosting a masterclass tomorrow evening, Thursday, September 7th at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I will be talking about the power of live events and adding value. This was actually a really great topic. I didn't do it intentionally, but this is a great topic to kind of, get us ready for that, because live events is all about adding value. So I hope that you will join me. You can find the information to register for the masterclass on my Instagram, Sonia, Sonia R Beauty. And there's also a PDF there, right? Free value. There's also a PDF there sharing with you how the value of live events, 7 reasons why you really should. And with that being said, thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here. I am looking forward to doing many more of these, and keep bringing your questions forward. They absolutely make it more exciting. So have a wonderful day, and I will see you next time. Bye.